Good afternoon. I'm happy to be joined with Mac Bursagay again. Mac is the senior pastor at the Mission Church in Patterson, Louisiana. He's been providing some great insight to us concerning the use of social media and Facebook in particular, and helping our churches during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic to be able to stay in touch with their congregation and to be able to share with them. We appreciate Brother Mac and what he is doing to help us. The Mission Church is probably one of the best churches within the Church God of Prophecy that is reaching out socially through social media to touch people's lives. They've been doing it for quite some time, and the insights that they provide are certainly great. Brother Mac, today we're going to be talking about using Facebook advertisement to help our churches to reach whatever population they want to reach, but in my mind, mainly those that are around them that they would want to share and to touch. And so what I've asked you to do is just share a little bit about what Facebook advertisement is and what's involved in that.
Facebook advertising now, where it is now in the game, and that's likely to change every 6 months or so. It'll be a whole different thing. Where it is now is Facebook isn't like the Wild West. It isn't wide open. And I think if you know, a lot of people are trying to trick the algorithm to get their video or their post or their page at the top. But Facebook kind of, if you don't have a team always working on that, Facebook lets you go kind of to the front of the line if you will have a $5 to $10 budget to spend a week on promoting your page, post, or whatever it is that you're promoting. The algorithm is not the end all say all at that point, because money talks. And so Facebook, it makes a lot of its money through this means. And for us, Facebook advertising, we've mainly used Facebook advertising to do events. Last year we did a trunk or treat event. We only started marketing it a month, 30 days ahead of the event. And I think we had 1,200 people show up for it. In a small town like us, you know, that's a tremendous number. We've won probably 3 families from that event. We did a follow-up event, which we also boosted or advertised on Facebook from that, which was called Nerf and Nachos, which was just a smaller thing to try and scoop up those families and get them somewhat connected or assimilated into the fellowship of the church. And so Facebook advertising it's their way of allowing you to see the analytics, how they work, and also how to capitalize on getting your page at the front of the line for whatever it is, whatever the market is that you're trying to get to.
Right. Is this similar to, as we're scrolling through our Facebook feeds, we come across an advertisement? Would that be the same type thing, or is it something different?
In some instances, it is the same thing. You can kind of tell the big corporate things that sends out to a national level, and you can kind of tell regardless, it's going to say sponsored. Mm-hmm. You know, when you see a link that says sponsored, if you are doing a post and it's you know a small video, or if it's a still image, or if it's just your page, it's gonna say sponsored. But the way Facebook does it, it causes it to stand out. The last thing you see on it is the word sponsored, and you really don't care that it's sponsored. It just it's just the way they drive people to that, because they want you to continue to do it. So, but yeah, to say the least, it is the paid advertising, the sponsored posts.
Right. Okay. And we're not talking about a lot of money here. Almost any of our churches, any individual could probably afford to do this. What are some of the price ranges you would see in a small church, even smaller than the Mission, but some of our churches that run under, let's say, 30, they could easily still advertise.
Oh, absolutely. If a church would spend $20 a month, which is basically what we spend, to be honest with you, we're not just looking for reaches. We're really looking for engagements, and we're looking. And what I mean by engagement,
let's explain that. Explain that for us. Reaches versus engagements.
Okay. Okay. Good. So reaches means that like someone was scrolling and your post, video, or graphic showed up in their feed, and so their phone pinged Facebook and allowed, to my knowledge. Now I'm sure there may be someone that's got a better understanding of that, but from what I understand of it, is that it showed up in their news feed. It doesn't necessarily mean they clicked on it. It doesn't mean that they responded. Clicks are the bread and butter of it. It means that someone saw your video, saw your image, and they stopped, and they either clicked on the link to your church or they clicked on the image themselves. It means you did something good enough to stop the scroll. And so a lot of times when we look at reach, we'll say, well, 100 people or 100, this post had 100 shares. And so out of every person, say that 100 shares, 20 people within that, each one of those had showed up in their news feeds because they just happened to be on Facebook at the time. Well, that isn't necessarily to say that everyone stopped and looked at that. What you're looking for is you want them to click the like button. You want them to comment. If someone comments or likes, even on your phone, you can go in and you click on the likes, and you can go individually as the pastor or anybody in your church can go and invite them to follow the Mission Church or follow Magnolia Region or follow New Life Tabernacle or New Life Church in Monticello or wherever. You can go in and not only see that they've engaged in some way, because they may give you a thumbs down or a sad face, if that makes sense. And so but if that's the kind of the follow-up that you would do on a Sunday morning. Somebody visits your church and they walk through the door, and then you send them a card. Well, if they like your image, you want to go and invite them to like your church. They may not have done that or not, or you really want them to follow your church.
Right. We last Friday I started a Facebook ad for the Magnolia region that was a graphic with a little descriptor with it, just based on Psalms 23:4, and maybe a paragraph of writing. Wasn't a whole lot of writing with that, and we set a budget for a week for that. And it basically concludes, I'm going to read the last paragraph. Each local church of the Magnolia Region Church of God of Prophecy is praying for our communities in Louisiana and Mississippi during the COVID-19 pandemic. To learn more about or the location of our local churches, and it clicks to our website. And just in four days now that we've been running that ad, actually 3 days that we've been running that ad, there's 7,354 reaches. That means they scrolled through it, but they did not all stop and read the paragraph. They did not all click to Magnolia Region. They did not all click at the graphic. However, there have been over 309 likes and 181 shares, and probably, I think the last I saw, about 70 comments. Most of those are not from our church people. So I think that's probably been a pretty successful campaign for us as a region, because
Sure.
of the response of people clicking on things. And that's the power of advertising. It enables you to get outside of the 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 people that follow you, and to be able to look at some important things. Brother Mac has created a video for us, again, to help us to be able to know how to do that. So we're going to take just a moment and watch that. It's about a 5-minute video, and we'll have that on our website so that you can actually stop it and start it whenever, as you're working through that to create your campaign. So let's take a moment and do that.
Hey guys, I want to show you how easy it is to promote your post and or page on Facebook Page Manager. And for the time being, we're just going to show you how to promote a post. So if you open up your Page Manager, you'll see Publish, Photo, Video, Event, and then a bullhorn that says Promote. If you click that bullhorn there, it will give you a bunch of options. Now, you can do any of these options and they're all great. Like you can promote your business locally, you're a church, and so it's going to set you in a certain category. If you promote your page, it's going to do some things. But if you want to boost a post, and assuming that's what you want to do, if you want to boost a post, you just click on there. And then it gives you some suggested posts that you should boost, and it gives you the top ones that have performed well. Obviously, our last Sunday service performed pretty good for us anyway. So good morning, everyone. It says that the ad preview is not available, and so you kind of want to keep an eye on that. This post has had 1,400 clicks, 531 engagements, and 2,234 in the reach. And so we want to. Our goal is to get more views. And so we're going to do that. And then our optional button, we're going to say, we're going to set it to send us a message. And we're just going through as it is, as it shows. And yeah. So our target audience, your audience is going to say, there's not going to be an audience, but you can specifically target people who like your page. You can target people who are friends of people that like your page. Or if you see that Trunk or Treat 2017 or Where Healing Is Part 2, that's past campaigns that we've used recently to re-promote. We use those two campaigns to promote all of our stuff. You may not have those in there, but you can kind of edit your audience to say, okay, we want to promote this between the ages of, this is what we would do between the ages of 30 and 60 or 65 and plus, which means just all ages over that. And so we just leave it at 30 to 65. That's kind of our target area. And so potential audience size is 2 million people in that. It's kind of a bit broad. So we want to click on that address tab there. And that's obviously going to be way too small for us. And so what we want to do is we want to look at where that is. We want to move over to where our church is, and we want to do about a 20-mile radius for us. That's what works for us. And so we just want to cover Gibson and Franklin and everything between Morgan City and Pierreport. So we're going to press save there. And that's a potential audience of 35,000 people. And that looks good. So let's press save. And then moving down, we're going to say our total budget that we want to spend on this is going to be $20. And so we're going to spend $20 in 5 days, which isn't a lot. So the estimated number of people who will see your post on these ads per day is between 1,300 and 4,000 people. That looks, you'll spend roughly about $4 a day. You'll probably have some money left over at the end. And so let's just say boost page now. And so your payment method will have to be entered in. I'm not going to show you how to do that, but when it goes in there, it'll say under review, and you just make sure that you check on that to see if your post, if you're doing a particular image that has a lot of writing on it, Facebook will kick it back. They want to see pictures, or they want to see the majority of your 80% of your space not covered by words. And so, yeah, that's really all there is to it.
All right. So I know he was going pretty fast there, but again, you can stop and start that, and as you're going through there, and it's pretty easy. And also, if you'll just Google create a Facebook ad, it'll give you some steps as well. But he's showing you on your phone actually how to do that. And I've found it's been a very powerful way to communicate to your community and to communicate to that area that you're trying to reach. Now, Brother Mac, we probably don't want to do this with what we're doing on Sunday morning, but what would you suggest? Because first of all, you can't start a campaign until you already have something posted. It has to be a post that is done. So what would you suggest that we do to draw people to our Facebook fan page, and then perhaps that would encourage them to be able to watch what we're doing on Sunday mornings now?
If you started, if a pastor out there has started a new Facebook, I would simply go and boost the Facebook itself. If you have, if you've only got 50 followers on Facebook, 50 people that have liked your page, if you will, then I would make I would make 4 or 5 good posts, whether that would be a video, a still graphic. I don't overly, even though we've talked a lot about that, I don't overly recommend people going live with their normal service. I know we're in uncharted waters with the coronavirus, but everyone's not ready for that. And I think a lot of times, if you don't have all of what it takes to produce that, then you might be more likely to repel people than you are to compel people to come in. But what I would do if I had 100 followers and I was wanting to really connect with people or get something, I would find a way I would go out to my truck. I would go and make a video of me just saying an encouraging word. I would have a little bit of a script, a little outline, and I would say, hey, we're praying for you. We love you. I'd be completely positive. Everybody is reading enough about the coronavirus. We're not news anchors, and what we know will be different tomorrow. And so I would just speak into people's lives, and I would do that and make a video between two and a half minutes to 5 minutes long. And the reason why is because if you resonate with that time, no one minds sharing a video that's 2.5 minutes long. If you do boost a 1.5 hour long service that you had from Sunday, people grow weary with that. And I mean, and honestly, we have done that. We this past Sunday, we brought in 2 special musical guests, and we did that. But we also had, professional cameras and professional audio equipment that's just for live streaming, et cetera. But if we didn't, we wouldn't have even allowed that video to stay on longer than 24 hours. And we do that. Sometimes we have a Sunday that I don't feel like is a great Sunday, and so we take it down within 24 hours. Because no matter what, I don't want to repel people from the church. I want them to come to Christ. And so I would encourage people to go and, just like what you're doing right here, speak to people. If it ministers to a person, they're going to share it, because people want something to encourage their daughter, their mother, their aunt, their uncle. And if they can do that, and you can encourage those 100 people on your today at our church, we did kind of a hack, if you will, about that. We're giving away, as a joke almost, we're giving away a free Corona survival kit, which includes a roll of toilet paper, 2 Clorox wipes, and a bar of soap. And so what we did is we want people to tune in to our Worship Without Walls on weeknights, and we want people to tune into our service on Sunday morning. And so we call this Takeaway Tuesday. Well, we're not having service right now, and so this is going to kind of hopefully get people to say, hey, you can get a free roll of toilet paper, which is a hot commodity apparently, and kind of a joke. So we've only had 61 engagements, and it's been up for let's see, maybe an hour, and that's not great for us, but maybe they're barbecuing or something, I don't know.
Well, I think you bring up some really good points. I was telling you earlier that I was listening to a broadcast or a podcast by Tom Rainer, who used to be the president of Lifeway.
Oh yeah.
This morning about going virtual with your church, and some interesting things he brought out that I think you mentioned as well was number one, this boosting that you're doing right now does not need to be your entire church service. People are not conditioned to watch a screen for an hour and a half. Think television. Think that every 7 minutes there's a commercial thrown in, and so their attention. Then they do that because the attention span is short. I heard John Maxwell say several years ago in our preaching that every 7 minutes we need to give the people a break because their minds are conditioned. Secondly, he said, make sure that you stay positive. The guest that he had on that day or this morning made a statement that I thought was great. He said, negativity doesn't play well on social media. And I think it's important that as a church and as the people of good news, that we do stay positive with what we're sharing. If we have a prophetic word from the Lord, we need to share that with our church in private and not on social media. And you brought that up by reminding us that the community is looking. And so we want to be careful with that. And our length on these should be very short. I think you had mentioned earlier about 1 to 2 minutes if we're going to do a video that we're going to boost. Just a little comment from the pastor, just saying, encouraging people and letting them know that God's with us and he's going to help us at these times. Whatever happens, we know the Lord is in control, and just reminding them of that. And then perhaps you could make a little announcement in there that we have a Facebook page. Be sure and look at that. And we are providing some service or some messages on Sundays for those who are not able to be in church. So I think that's some great advice. Well, Brother Mac, anything else you want to add concerning advertisement?
I think in the video, the only thing that I didn't put in the video was the payment method. And I do want to tell you, the only reason why I would bring that up is because a lot of times when we look at things online, some people are not keen. I'm not keen on buying things online. I want to hold it, want to touch it. I want to feel if it's solid or not. But the payment, I've used Facebook advertising. I've never had a problem being compromised with my bank. It's very secure. So I have a lot of confidence in it. I've used it for years. Facebook advertising has tremendously impacted the growth of our church and the direction of our church. The people that are in our church right now, they have came directly through Facebook advertising and or some type of Facebook. I will say there's only one thing better than Facebook advertising is if you see a post that you're doing, you go to Insights. If you're on a computer screen like I am now, you go to More and it says Insights. Well, you don't even have to go to More if you're on your phone. You see a post that is performing well, especially if it's a short video or if it's a still graphic. That's the post you want to boost. That's the post you want to spend the money. You want to allow it to do what it does, and then the second it stops going higher in the Facebook analytics, you want to immediately advertise that and put that out. When someone goes to that, they say, hey, this is a church that people are engaged. This is a church where people are involved. That's really important right now, where everyone feels like our church is so close and so tight, everyone feels separated. So this is like, advertising is a way to showcase the best of whatever you have to offer on social media.
And those of you that are new to the Facebook fan page, if you have a post that is doing well, they'll actually ask you if you want to boost it. That'll come up on your page. And that's what they're asking. Do you want to run an advertisement on that when they say, do you want to boost that? So it's very easy from there to do it. You just click on it. It'll walk you right through that. One other thing that you brought up, Brother Mac, that I want to hit just in closing is so many of our people this past Sunday was their first experience with Facebook Live. And what you need to know is those videos do stay up on Facebook till you take them off. We would certainly suggest that you take them off after they've been up. Don't just leave them up forever. Take them off, and as your quality improves, especially if you were one that was struggling with some internet issues or connectivity issues, you served your purpose, and there's no fault or criticism. You did what you needed to do. You spoke to the hearts of your people, but don't leave that up for someone who has a more critical eye to come back in and go, well, why are they leaving that up? That looks poorly on their church. So take those things down after they've been up for your congregation to be able to see, and then you'll add another one the next week.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Well, Mac, I appreciate so much you joining us today, and I know you've got a lot on your table as you're leading your congregation, and we continue to pray for all of our churches that God's just going to be with you and help you. And again, I want to say thank you, Brother Mac. We're looking forward, perhaps once we're through this season, that we can have you and maybe perhaps someone else who has been live streaming. Some of our churches are interested in doing that and doing it well. and perhaps we could do a webinar with that and let you guys kind of help them begin to venture into that.
Sure, I'd love to.
All right. Well, Lord bless you. Hope you have a great week, and we're praying for you all.